Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're getting our final review of DAMNUM by Allegaeon. Alright, we have listened to this album for an entire week, and I gotta say, friggin' enjoyed it quite a lot. There's a lot in this album. There's a lot packed into this. It's an hour long, 12 songs, and it, in my opinion, is on fire from beginning to end. And this is one of those things where I got a lot to talk about and I'm not quite sure where to go with it at the beginning because I don't want to hog the floor too long, and I could probably talk for 20 minutes alone on this album if I really wanted to. So I'll talk about my highlight tracks. Or highlight moments, maybe, things that just stood out to me. So starting from the top, the first song I want to talk about is track number 4, To Carry My Grief Through Torpor and Silence. This is the song where in the first impressions we said that there was a bass solo and then a guitar solo. Don't think that's a bass solo. And the reason I don't think it's a bass solo is because I actually asked my buddy, who's a professional guitar player and guitar tech, what does he think about this? Because there's a part that comes before it that I was like, this sounds a little odd. And his opinion, and we could be wrong, is that the part that comes before it and the bass part is the same instrument, just played higher and lower on the neck. It's a low-tuned, basically it's a fretless classical guitar that's low-tuned. Nylon strings. I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about. I trust his opinion, so I think that's exactly what it was. And it's played in almost a flamenco style kind of thing vibe. It's just really cool how it switches from like this brighter kind of tone to a darker tone bass style for like the second half of the solo. Then it switches to like a traditional guitar solo that you would hear afterwards.
Now that you say that, you know what? Yeah, that actually could be a classical guitar. Like thinking about it, like, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And another small thing about that part that I really love, before that solo happens, all the percussion you hear in the background just adds so much texture. You hear a guiro in there, hand drums. It's awesome. Love that.
Yeah, so that to me, like every time that part came on, I was like, I just love the creativity in there. They put work into it to make that sound that good. The next one I'm going to talk about is Blight, track number 7, basically because it has a piano solo, which I wasn't expecting, and it's nice to have that in there. Overall, really good song. The grooves in this song remind me a little bit of Cattle Decapitation, something you hear from that band, which is also really cool. Shows some diversity there. The Dopamine Void Part 1 and 2, excellent duo track there. I love that it gets just furious right at the beginning of Dopamine Void Part 2. The solos in this song are a vibe. Great groove sections as well. In Morning, track number 11, which is the acoustic kind of interlude track. So this is another one that I had to really kind of focus on and I study it. So it's 2 acoustic guitars for sure. And then it took some time listening to it, but I'm pretty damn sure there's a piano in there as well, accenting the chords, which I think is great. There's a lot of debate whether piano is a stringed instrument or a percussion instrument, but to me it's a stringed instrument, and I feel like that's why it blends in so well, and then they just harmonize and accent each other so well. I think it was a really good thing, but the thing that was throwing me off is this ambient hum that is constant throughout the entire track pretty much. And what I think it is, I think it's a violin or some type of bowed instrument, and it's just creating this constant ambient hum throughout the entire song, and then you hear it kind of pick up right at the end before it bleeds into the next track, which is Only Lost. It just is a perfect way to fill empty space while these guitars are doing their beautiful thing with this piano accenting all the chords. It's just such an amazingly composed musical arrangement. I fucking love In Morning. It's so good.
You can tell it was very well thought out with how many different parts of this machine were like put together. Like this machine of an album, all these different little cogs and pieces just formed together quite perfectly, and I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
And like halfway through Only Lost, there are some pig squeals in there, and every time I think like, oh yeah, that's nasty, and that goes to show something about this album that I really love. There's a lot to this album, you said that already, but there's a lot of unique moments throughout this album. This album presents a lot of ideas, concepts, and just things that are not overused. Even when piano is used a few times, it's sparingly.
Yeah.
And Called Home is one of my highlight tracks. Love that song. It has the piano in it, just thrown in there a little bit. And then, like a few songs later or whatever, Blight has that full-ass piano solo. So I remember listening like, oh my god, we have a solo now? What? And it's an incredible solo, too, on top of that. Called Home, though, honestly, I had to look it up because it sounds so much like classic Opeth. I was unsure if they got Michael Ackerfeld or not. On this song, they didn't. And that goes to show how amazingly talented this singer is. To be able to do so much. You hear so many different things. The pig squeals, the harshes, the cleans, everything. Like, he's pulling no punches here, and it's so impressive. So, love Called Home. Of Beasts and Worms, love that song. The chorus is catchy in a great way. I still hear it in my head, and I'm glad that it's in there. It's not going to leave anytime soon.
I got some Peter Steele vibes in the vocals at the beginning of that song, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Similar. It's in the same kind of vein, yeah.
But yeah, that, another thing I love about Called Home is that, like, it breaks down and gets all quiet, and when it comes back, it hits like a truck. Incredible way that they just worked through the contour of that single song. And another thing about this album I think is really great is that a lot of albums that are like good or solid are albums where you kind of think about, oh yeah, here are these good songs, those good songs, and the rest are just fine. This album's not like that. For this album, I look at this track listing and it's like, oh yeah, great song after great song after great song. None of these tracks are expendable.
Like I said, it's fire from beginning to end. There's nothing skippable.
Exactly.
Nothing is like, maybe I'll listen to this next time. It's like when a song comes on, you're like, okay, this one.
Exactly.
All right, here we go.
And it's a different experience for each song, too. It's not like anything's repetitive at all.
Yeah.
And one song I really liked that stood out to me was Saturnine.
Nice.
Well, probably one of, if not the heaviest song on this album, and I love the main riff. It's kind of leaning more so towards death metal than prog, but this band is like a prog band, but also kind of just melodic death metal. Like, they kind of mix that together, and I guess that's in full force on this record. And the solos in that song are also really good, but the solos throughout the entire album are really good, regardless what instrument is playing.
The best ones, in my opinion, are in Vermin, though, which is a single we just reacted to the video for that. The solos in that song are just, I love those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Of Beasts and Worms, again, another amazing song. The first track, Bastards of the Earth, another great song, great solos.
Really good opener.
I mean, we could probably go on about any song on this album. There are no bad ones. But I also want to touch on Called Home because I didn't really say it on the first. It is my best track on this album. Called Home is the best track on this album. It's amazing. I love the way the guitars and the vocals harmonize in the intro. The middle part of the song reminds me of Pirate by Neoblithoscaris, which is my favorite Neoblithoscaris song, so that says a lot. The end of this song, though, the last minute or so, is the best part of the album. It just goes so hard. You got harshes trading with cleans. The double bass is ripping a whole fucking asshole in your face. It's just, the musical composition and arrangement of the song is just top tier. And my analogy sucks, so asshole in your face is the best I can come up with on the fly. But yeah, I had fun this week. Let's get to ratings.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty clear perhaps for both of us, but I'll say it's a toe tag album for me. This album's incredible. I just loved it through and through. There's so much going on, and it really felt like a fusion of like classic Scar Symmetry meets classic Opeth equals awesome.
Yeah. So before I do my rating, I just want to say I did go back and listen to Apoptosis one more time just to see if there was clean vocals on there, because I kept wondering, I kept forgetting, was there cleans on there? There is! So Extremophiles B, which is a single they released, has one line of clean vocals, and then the title track has some clean vocals in it. The rest of the album, from what I heard and remember, is harsh.
So
they definitely upped their game on the clean vocal stuff. But I think it was to a major positive. It creates a lot of diversity, a lot of fresh new sound that this band didn't really need, but is definitely benefiting from. major toe tag album. So stoked to have this under the belt. Had a lot of fun listening to this all week. This is a lot of these songs are in the playlist, and more are probably going to go in. Yeah, this was a good one. Anyways, guys, that's it for this review. So leave your thoughts and comments down below and let us know what you guys think of this album after a full week of listening to it. That's it from us for now. Subscribe if you guys enjoy the channel. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys in the next video. Keep those heads banging.